Remember, in the course of discussing movies, the host will spoil plots. You've been warned. Listen to their screams. Greetings, ghouls and creeps, and welcome to Listen to Their Screams, a horror podcast that feels like you're talking with friends. I am one of your friends, Dave, joined as always by our other friend, Ike. Ike, how are you?
I am doing fantastic.
All
I
right.
am here, man. I'm here.
Yeah. Actually, if we're going to be transparent, you're literally here. You're actually
Literally.
visiting this week, and but in order to get so we're recording in the same house, but to get clear audio, you're a couple rooms over because our mics were bleeding into each other. So weird stuff, but that's all right. We do what we got to do here.
That's right. Improve and
But
innovate.
that's right. And yeah, this week we're going to be reviewing the movie Bad Things, which is on Shudder. And before we dive into all of that, we'd like to say a special thank you to our wives, Monica and Kayla, for all their support and everything they do for us. So I don't really have anything with as far as what I watched and whatever else. This has been kind of a crazy week, and I know like I said, you've been traveling. You're here now, so do you have a whole lot that you've been up to or watched?
No. I mean, we watched a little bit of The Walking Dead, but outside of that, not a whole lot that I've been able to watch.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. My routines are different. So, well, then, if that's the case, let's just dive into our weekly segment, Stump the Cohost. And this week we're doing Stump the Co-host. This is our horror trivia game that we play here on Listen to Their Screams. Ike and I have identical horror trivia card decks, excuse me, and we each choose two cards, which is a total of 4 questions, and we will alternate asking each other these questions to see who wins for this episode. At the end of 2023, when we end up doing our 2023 review episode, excuse me, we will then proclaim who our yearly champion is. As it stands right now, Ike is leading with 2 wins, no losses, and 2 draws. So I'm okay fighting from the underdog. I just gotta start making up some ground here.
Absolutely. I think looking at our cards here for you, I think you might have a little bit of a edge on this one.
I think you said that last week too, and it didn't work, or last time too. All right, well, let's dive into it. Since you are playing from the lead, I'm going to put you're going to have to be on the go first. That's the way we're going to do it. All right.
Sounds good.
What movie stars professional wrestler Roddy Piper as a drifter who discovers a box of special sunglasses?
That's a good one. That's a goodie. Well, I guess that we can blame Dave for this one as well because the only reason I know about this movie is because of Dave. So that would be They Live.
It is They Live. Such a good movie. Love that movie.
It is indeed. It's a good one.
All right, go ahead then. Here we are. I'm now back in the fighting from behind spot again already. So, oh boy. So
All
go ahead.
right.
Hand me my first question.
All right, first one for you. In the 1982 movie Basket Case, what does the character Dwayne carry in his basket?
Well, I don't separated twin or whatever you would. I guess I don't know how you would put it, right? I mean, it was his conjoined twin that was separated from him.
Yep, that is correct. It says Siamese twin, but twin is good.
There you go. I guess that's the case. All right. Okay, we're back 1-1 here. Harry Potter's Daniel Radcliffe starred in this 2012 film about a vengeful ghost.
That would be The Woman in Black.
It is The Woman in Black. So you're back up 2-1. So here I am fighting again.
Absolutely. I think you'll get this one. In Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers, what is Jamie Lloyd's relation to Michael?
Jamie Lloyd, that is his niece.
That is correct.
Some of these questions, you read them and it's like they sound so obvious, and you're like thinking it through. So then I'm afraid, oh, am I overthinking this?
Right.
I talked myself into a circle here. All right, 2-2 here. Your third question. Oh man, what's in the box? Name that movie.
That would be 7.
That is 7. That is my favorite Brad Pitt movie.
That's a good one.
Such a good movie. That in California. I like California too. So.
All right. Well, I feel pretty confident you'll get this one. What was George A. Romero's first installment of his classic zombie movie franchise?
Night of the Living Dead.
That is correct.
All right, we're tied 3-3 again. Man, you're gonna miss one, or I'll get another damn draw. All right. What attacks a group of teens in the 1986 movie Chopping Mall when they are trapped inside a shopping mall after dark?
It's a serial killer, isn't it?
It is not. It is security robots.
Oh, see, yeah.
All right, here we go. I'm guaranteed a draw, but I have a chance to get my first win right here. It's all on this fourth question. I can get my first victory. Here we go. No pressure. Yeah, all kinds of pressure. I'm actually very nervous. I'm more nervous than I should be about this.
Well, we'll see. This one's a little. I mean, I know you've seen this movie, but I don't know if you'll know this per the name that it's asking for. So, all right.
Oh, no.
What is the name of the family pet in the movie The Lost Boys?
Oh, man. Oh.
I know you've seen this movie. I know you love this movie.
I have seen this movie dozens of times, and I don't know that I've ever paid attention. I'm going to say Buster.
It is Nanook. So you are incorrect.
I don't even know what Nanook is.
Me neither.
Nanook is some bullshit. That's what it is. Damn it. So here we go. Like, all I could do is muster another draw. I feel like maybe that's just the best I can do here.
Hey, it happens. It happens. When you're against greatness, what can you do but draw?
Okay. Let's see how it is. All right, let's take a little break. Let Ike get his ego in check a little bit. Awfully cocky for a draw. And when we come back, we'll have news and upcoming releases. Make sure you subscribe to Listen to Their Screams on your favorite podcast platform. Also, make sure you look us up on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, TikTok, and Slasher. All you have to do is look up Listen to Screams. That is Listen, the number 2 and Screams, and you can find us there. Also, make sure you go and buy yourself a Listen to Their Screams t-shirt. You can find all of our shirts at tinyurl.com/Screams Shirts.
Spread the news. Spread the news. Spread the news. And we are back with the news. All right. So we got some good stuff for you guys here today. One thing I'm particularly excited about, but let's talk about it. First and foremost, we have The Last Voyage of the Demeter is now available on video on demand. This is one of those movies that we didn't end up reviewing for the podcast, but it was something that both Dave and I were both interested in. So hopefully once this comes to streaming, we can definitely both check it out and talk about it. But I know obviously it's vampire related, so I know Dave, it's a must see.
Yeah, it's based on a chapter from the original Bram Stoker Dracula novel. It's actually Dracula. But I'm kind of glad it's on video on demand pretty quickly. I'm excited to see it.
Yep, me too. All right, and then of course we have The Boogeyman. The Boogeyman, and it's now available on video on demand, and will be released on physical media October 10th. Now, of course, Dave and I did review this movie. Mm-hmm. I don't remember when, about 2 months ago, I think. But decent movie. Cool to see it get released on physical media, so people can pick it up. Well, what else can I say?
Yep. Go watch it on video on demand, and then go back and find our episode and listen to our review of it.
That's right. All right. And here's the best news of the week. Not gonna lie to you. Terrifier 2 is returning to theaters on November 8th. Oh, beautiful.
Yep.
We recently had the Terrifier 1 re-release, which was fantastic, or I guess I should say release. And then now we have the Terrifier 2 for November 8th, so I'm incredibly excited for that. I know Dave is too.
Yep. And there's supposed to be some special surprises, they said, and different things. With the Terrifier, there was some different things after the credits, some Art the Clown tattoos and Art the Clown art, and I think some cosplays and different things like that. So I don't know if it's kind of that kind of stuff. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe can it be a little bit of a behind the scenes peek on Terrifier 3? I know they're not really filming yet, but maybe could we have some storyboard sketches or some peeks at some practical effects they're working on? Who knows? It could be something really cool there.
Yeah, I'm hopeful because I'm super excited for the re-release. I'll definitely be going to see it, but I told my wife, I was like, it'd be cool if they had like a blooper reel or something. That'd be funny.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. There's got to be
All right.
there's got to be some good ones with Terrifier 2.
Surely. Oh man. All right, but if you haven't checked it out yet, check it out November 8th, guys. You won't be sorry. All right. Now we have some upcoming birthdays. These are some good ones. Not as good as last week's. I'm pretty sure last week was H.P. Lovecraft, but these are still pretty good. So on September 4th, 1943, we have Michael Berryman from The Hills Have Eyes and The Devil's Rejects. So I can't place Michael Berryman. Is he the one that's like on the cover of the original?
Yeah, he's the big gnarly looking dude. That is,
Gotcha.
Yeah. You'd know him if you see him. He's a big gnarly looking, monstrous looking dude. Done lots of things.
Oh yeah. Yep. So I just looked him up on IMDb. I always have that handy for our episodes. So, yeah. Okay. Yep. I know who that is. Very cool. Well, happy birthday to Michael Berryman, 1943.
Mm-hmm.
And then September 5th, we have Rose McGowan from 1973. If you obviously most people know her from Scream. I guess she was also in Phantoms, which I completely forgot, and many more. I almost got to see her at a panel at Pensacon last year, but I think she was sick, so she didn't end up being able to make it.
Yep. She's pretty cool. I like her character in the first Scream.
I did too.
She's the one that bites it in the garage door.
Yep, that's right. I cannot remember her name in the movie, but yeah, that was one of the ones that was a pretty good kill. It was pretty climatic, I would say. It's very creative.
Yeah, she was Stu's girlfriend, right? Stu's girlfriend. Yeah.
Yep, she sure was. And that was a mistake that she would not live to repeat. All right. And then we also have, probably this is going to be Dave's favorite one this week, September 5th, 1951. We have Michael Keaton, who, of course, is Batman and Beetlejuice.
Mm-hmm. And in Beetlejuice 2, the upcoming Beetlejuice 2.
That's right.
Yeah, but he's forever my Batman.
Forever your Batman. Yeah, Michael Keaton's pretty great. I can't deny his greatness. Obviously, he's one of the best Batmans. He's not my favorite Batman, but I didn't grow up in the 80s, so I think that's probably partly why.
Yeah, maybe.
But all right, we have one last one here, which is September 6th, 1949. We have Tommy Lee Wallace, the writer and director of Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. Probably one of the more underrated Halloween films. Dave and I both really enjoy it, and we're actually going to rate the Halloween films here pretty soon. So it'll be interesting to see where this lands.
Yeah, I love this movie. I absolutely love it. But it's one of those movies that people didn't like back in the day. I mean, I'm sure because they probably went expecting to see Michael Myers. Not seeing Michael Myers, it felt like a disappointment. But now over time, it's really kind of gathered a following. It's, I don't know, especially if you just don't really take it into context. It's not really a Halloween movie per se, as in the storyline or whatever. But it is such a fun movie. So.
Absolutely. Very cool. Very cool. Now we have a couple of upcoming movie anniversaries, I should say. We have September 3rd, 1993. We have California with a K.
There's the movie I was just talking about with Brad Pitt.
I was going to say, it's very exciting for Brad Pitt. And actually, I looked it up. It has Brad Pitt and, of course, David Duchovny in it. But
Juliette Lewis, I think, is in it. And
Yep, Juliette Lewis, who for people who maybe don't know her from back then, she's in what is it called
she's
oh
in
my
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
she is, and she's
Yeah.
also in Yellow Jackets, that TV show that we watched on Paramount, I
She
think.
yeah, she creeps me out. I don't know what there is about her as an actress. There's just something about her that's always kind of, I don't know, kind of creep me out. She's kind of odd to me, but I don't know. But she's playing odd in this movie. But I love California. I think it's where there's a couple of people that are traveling across the country. I think looking into the works of serial killers or whatever else, and they pick someone up, as in they don't realize that while they're doing this, they're actually the person they picked up is a serial killer. So it's
Yep.
pretty wild.
Yep, that's pretty much the description.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, so I'll have to check it out because it sounds like something I like, and it has a lot of cool people in it. So I'll have to check that out. All right. And then we also have from 2009, September 4th, we have Carriers, which is a film starring Chris Pine and Christopher Maloney from, what is that from? Is that NCIS?
Law and Order SVU? No, SVU.
Oh, yeah.
Law and Order SVU. Yeah.
Very cool. I've never seen this movie. I have heard of it, and I've seen a trailer for it many, many years ago, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, I think I saw it not long after it came out. I didn't see it in theaters or anything, but I don't remember much about it. But it's got got a pretty good cast, so I think it'd be one that'd be worth revisiting.
Very interesting. Very interesting. All right. So before we move on to recent upcoming releases, I'm going to say it real quick. Follow us on social media. You'll see all of these little updates come up as we go along in the month, as well as many more. But moving on to upcoming releases and recent releases, we have Slaughterhouse. You heard that right. Slaughterhouse released into theaters on August the 30th, the day of our recording, and it is described as an Emily Young wants to be elected her sorority's president. She adopts a sloth thinking it will become the new mascot and help her win. But a string of fatalities implicate the sloth as the main suspect in the murders.
Yeah, I don't even know what the hell. I just don't even know. But it is one of those movies that it'll either be fun and entertaining, a la the like Cocaine Bear, or it will
Right.
be really weird and goofy and not make a whole lot of sense, like a la like Thanksgiving. It's just I don't know. I don't know. I know it's got it seems to have a lot of marketing push behind it though. I see ads for it popping up here and there and everything else. So I don't know. I don't know if it's because sloths are a fun thing now that people like, and who knows? Are sloths the new sharks?
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like sloths are just kind of like they're just kind of like a very popular creature right now. Like they have been for a
They
few
are.
years. So that's probably why they did it, if I had to guess.
Probably. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'll watch it at some point when it comes to streaming, and we'll see.
Absolutely. All right. And then we also have a movie that I'm really excited for. It is called All Fun and Games. It will be released in theaters on September the 1st. It is described as a group of Salem teens discover a cursed knife that unleashes a demon that forces them to play gruesome, deadly versions of childhood games, where there can be no winners, only survivors. Actually, I feel like I saw a trailer for this. My wife showed it to me. And I was like, wow, that looks pretty good. It looks pretty spooky. So I'll definitely be checking that out.
It does. This is the movie that I wanted us to review next episode, but I think it's a very limited theater release because again, I don't see it anywhere near me as coming, an upcoming release. So I don't know. I don't know when it gets closer to time. I guess we'll see. I mean, this is one that I'd like to go see in a theater, but I don't know. Like I said, I just can't. It's not showing up anywhere near me yet on their schedule. So who knows?
It's crazy. All this limited release nonsense, man. Just show me the movie. All right. But I think that pretty much wraps it up for our news, upcoming releases, and anniversaries, etc. If you want to check us out on social media, that'd be much appreciated. You can definitely check out all of these little posts that we post, and you won't be sorry. It's a really good time. With that being said, shameless marketing out of the way. Up next, we have our official review of Shudder's Bad Things.
Listen to Their Screams is now a Fangoria collaborator. Get 20% off your order at shop.fangoria.com by using the promo code LISTEN2SCREAMS at checkout. That is listen, the number 2, and screams. Or you can click the link in the show notes. All right, and we are back here on Listen to the Screams. Boy, we're just buzzing through this episode here. Everything's just bam, bam, bam. It's like got right through the news, got right through the game. We're marching along. This might be a little bit of a short episode. Y'all are gonna you're getting some time back from us here.
I think so.
That's all right. That's all right. We don't take any more time than we have to get this stuff done. But let's talk about Bad Things. It's available now on Shudder, written and directed by Stuart Thorndike, starring Gail Rankin, Harry Neff, and Annabelle Dexter-Jones. Is either Harry or Hari Neff. I'm sure I completely butchered that as I usually do. It is described as a group of friends go to a hotel for a weekend getaway and soon discover that women do bad things here. I've watched this movie, and it was all right. It was fun. I think it fell short in a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I like the story idea of it. I like the acting was really good. I thought the cast was really good. And it also had Molly Ringwald in it. And it and I thought it was executing pretty good, but then I thought it just kind of fell short and stopped short, and it kind of left us like, okay, that happened, but why? There was no attempt at reason. And again, I know you don't always have to explain, but it seemed peculiar. And it's like, so did this main character, was she just kind of having some kind of break and did these things? I mean, of course we've given the spoiler warning, so here we go. We're diving in now.
Right.
This girl and her girlfriend, and then their other friend are going, and the other friend drags along not really a friend, but an acquaintance of the group, who we find out the main girl had an affair with at some point in time.
Right.
And but it's kind of odd because you go through it, you kind of think that the tag along, they try to lead you to believe that the tag along is the killer. It doesn't. Right. I don't think it does a very good job of really making you think that. It seemed a little too obvious that she wasn't. And I really kind of early on kind of thought, oh yeah, it's just the main girl here, right? She's doing this. And but then it was just kind of weird with the mom, because she was watching these videos of this lady telling her about hotel, because she inherited a hotel, which her mom had supposedly set up for her to sell, had a buyer, but then she decided she didn't want to do it because her and her girlfriend wanted to run it, thought it would be good for their relationship or something. I don't know. But she's watching this video, which you just think she's just watching this lady talk about hotels and giving advice and stuff, but that turns out to be her mom, who comes with it's all weird, but it's like, it's very peculiar. But you see that later in the movie, her mom's dead, been killed. Right. I mean, everybody's dying, right? Everybody dies, pretty much, except for the main character, who is the one it's killing everybody. And as I watched it and got to that point, I thought, well, is this just her? She's just, out of her mind, right? And she's doing these bad things. But then I really started questioning things when she killed the last two, her friends, and she killed them like in a strip mall parking lot with people just kind of there walking by and in the background, and no one looked. So I thought, what the hell is that all about? Why is no one alarmed by this? So is there truly something bad in this area making women do? It was peculiar. I don't even know. I'm not even sure exactly which way it was supposed to go and what was what. Everybody was seeing ghosts of these people that had died, and including her. And it's very, I don't know. It was a little all over the place and didn't seem to have a lot of direction. It didn't. To me, it had very little explanation. Which, I mean, the movie was fun and it was enjoyable, but it was also very confusing to me. What do you think, Ike?
Yeah, so I think here's kind of my initial problem. So it's not even a problem really because I kind of liked it at first. When you get into the movie, it's very odd, right? You know, there's a lot of very interesting choices of sound and music, and everything just kind of seemed a little, a little confusing, but like sort of in a way that like led you to believe that they were going to offer some explanation. So, I was along for the ride, and like Dave said, we hop into the movie, we start seeing all this shit going down. The main character starts talking to somebody on a video through her phone, like that's
Mm-hmm.
completely normal. And slowly but surely, we kind of see this descent into madness, if you will. And like Dave said, you kind of have this Fran character. Her name's Fran, or their name is Fran, I should say.
Yeah.
Who the main character slept with in the hotel, I thought. But
Yeah.
they were kind of trying to like hide it, obviously. But Fran is like seeing ghosts and stuff, like
Yeah.
straight
Right
up
from the get
seeing
go.
ghosts. Exactly. And I looked at the cast list, and one of them is not even a ghost. One of them is the main character as a young girl. So I don't know how that's possible, but literally in the cast list it says young Ruth or young Ruthie, which is
Yeah.
the main character. So I'm just like, okay, so why is there a young Ruthie? She's not dead. She's not a ghost, I don't think, but it's acting as if she was because she appeared to this girl. So either this girl has some weird like psychic connection to the place or something. I don't know. But she's like seeing ghosts from the get go. Like from the jump, she's seeing fucking ghosts. And so that's like kind of the first thing that threw me off because I was thinking, okay, they're going the ghost route. Well, then there didn't really end up being any ghosts, and I think Fran eventually ended up dying. Well, at least we
Mm-hmm.
don't think there's any ghosts. And then you find out at some point because there's the third floor from the get go. Ruthie,
Yeah.
who owns the place now, says, "Don't go to the third floor." Right?
Yeah.
She says like explicitly, "Do not go to third floor. We have plumbing issues." Well, there's a room up there, and in the room, which we don't see until the end, it's her mom's dead body. And her mom is in a red dress, just like the woman she was imagining in the business room, as well as the woman she was imagining on YouTube or whatever. So you start trying to think like, okay, so like, what do all these pieces put together mean? And I think the issue is that I can't put it together. Like
Like, yeah.
I have all these pieces, but like none of it's fitting together seamlessly. None of it's
Yeah. And
jiving together.
there was also the scene where she went in the bathroom, like, because the two friends, or the two friends suspected that Ruthie was doing this, right? It was her.
Right.
So they kind of lock her in a room or whatever. Well, they try to lock her out, and she gets in, and then they lock her in a room. And she like goes to the bathroom, and there's like all this white liquid that pours down on her, like in the tub, or she thinks it does, or something. And I'm like, and then I have no idea what that was, no idea what that meant, what that had to do with anything. It was, I don't know if there was some form of it what's trying to be symbolism in some of this that's just
Right.
not working. But like you said, I don't know. None of this points to a clear what is what here. What's real? What's not real? What's causing what? And I don't know. So even as just if you take it as a free form, go with the flow of it, it doesn't flow. It doesn't make sense. It's kind of sporadic and all over the place. I mean, we know Ruthie's behind all this, right? We know
Right.
she's the thing, and she's killing people, but we don't know why. We don't know why. I mean, there at the end, Ruth sees the ghost of her mom and the ghost of the maintenance guy
Yep.
in the room. So, but it's not just Ruth that was seeing the ghost. It was the other. I mean, so it's like, it was. I don't know why. If Ruth was the only one seeing these things, it would make a little more sense. But I don't know why Fran was seeing these things.
That's what I was gonna say. I was actually gonna mention that. If it had just been Ruth seeing these things, seeing these apparitions, whatever the case is, it would be fine, because then you could just make the illusion or make the statement that, okay, well, she's just crazy, she's seeing shit, whatever. And I think you said at some point that it was supposed to be kind of loosely influenced by the Telltale Heart.
That's what they say, yes.
And I can kind of see that to an extent, because I obviously the mom was killed much before everything kind of went down, and
Yeah.
I think that was sort of what was driving the main character Ruthie into madness, because her mom was dead. But what does not make sense to me, and the thing that just I just cannot reconcile, is Fran. Fran
Yeah.
is the one piece of this that I cannot reconcile, because there's absolutely no reason for her to have been seeing these ghosts. And it's like that. Honestly, I think that's the thing that bothers me out of everything about this movie. Is like the movie was relatively okay. You know what I mean? It had some cool cinematography. I like the soundscape of it. I like the scope of it. I think that where they shot the film was very eerie and had sort of that, liminal aesthetic. And even some of the shots outside where like they're running and there's people around, but the people are just kind of like ignoring them. It kind of
Yeah.
gave it sort of that eeriness to it. And the thing that I just cannot reconcile about this whole movie, beyond all the cool stuff, is just, why is Fran able to see this shit? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
then I'm just thinking to myself, what could make all this make sense? And I can't. Maybe I'm just not able to fathom it, but I'm just not able to put it all together, and it bothers me.
Yeah, I mean, last episode we talked about subject, and we
Right.
talked about how that character also did, a descent into madness and whatever else, and was imagining things where, but it worked in that movie, and it made sense,
Right.
because they never said anybody else was seeing anything. They just said, you know, talk into this and give your report. No one ever said there's something over that other room, or gave any indication, or acted like they saw it. So it was just him. And when I was watching this one, I kind of thought at one point, well, this is kind of similar.
Right.
Whether she had something tragic in her childhood, her and her mom had this horrible relationship, whether she just had issues and killed her mom, and that really set her off the edge, or whatever it might be. She's unraveling, and then, but she wasn't the only one. It was weird. It was like, why? Yeah, I had no idea why Fran was seeing these things, and I don't know if it was to try to make us as the viewer think it was Fran doing these things, but then that doesn't. Then when they give the reveal, then it makes it all seem really hokey, and it doesn't make sense. So why? Why was she seeing it too?
Right.
I don't know. That part was still disappointing, right? It was the movie was very well made, very well acted, and it was going along fine. And I didn't feel like they delivered on that part, and then I just didn't feel like they kind of sealed the deal and put the bow on it at the end properly. And it just
Right.
felt very it's okay. We don't need to explain. And again, sometimes it's okay. You don't have to show everything and give everything away, but it should at least be reasonable that whatever your intent is behind it, that the viewers can piece some of that together and get there themselves. And this one, any way you think it's going, or try to rationale it to go, it just doesn't. It doesn't make sense. There's always an
Right.
obstacle, and it made it feel cluttered and disjoined.
Yeah, I think one other thing I want to add to sort of that train of thought, the clutter. I think that kind of almost perfectly describes probably the primary downfall of this movie, in my opinion, which is that there's so much going on and there's very little payout. And in a lot of instances where there is payout, it just doesn't feel like it's sufficient enough to basically exclude everything else. Because I feel like out of the four main characters, and I'll say there are six characters in this, right? Four are the main characters and that you see in the hotel, and then two are sort of side characters that you kind of see peripherally. You see the woman in the red dress, you see the caretaker of the place, and then you see the four main friends. You have a satisfying conclusion for most of them. But I think that one thing that they could have done potentially to maybe tie all this together is explain why she killed her mom. Because I have no idea why she would do that. Like there's no rationale. I mean, don't get me wrong, she had a traumatic childhood, and that could be the reason, but there's really no exposition to explain the if and how the child, why she would do that. You know what I mean? And I feel like that was one thing that I was really lacking, because I feel like if I could have that little bit of information, maybe be able to reconcile why she killed her mom in the first place, maybe some of the other pieces could fall together. Also, the caretaker. I mean, for lack of a better phrase, the caretaker was sort of a victim of circumstance, because just happened to be there. And
Mm-hmm.
I also wonder, like, what, we talked about what was Fran's purpose. Obviously, that's already been talked about. I'm not going to keep dragging that on. But also, I wonder, like, why was Fran there in the first place? I know that the one person said that they had received a cancer diagnosis, I think, and they didn't want them to be alone or something. And I don't know, I just felt like that seemed kind of fishy. Like, I know they had like the wound on their leg that was like a biopsy or whatever. So it's
Yeah.
like, so I'm like, okay, well, is that legit? Like, what is that all about? You know, and then I don't know. There was just so much stuff that, like, not even that I need an answer to, but I just need some form of conclusion. And I just feel like we didn't get a satisfying conclusion to it.
Yeah, and I was also confused by when the mom was killed, and this and that.
Yeah.
And the one part that kind of confused me about it is when Ruthie is sleeping with Fran in that one scene.
Mm-hmm.
Her phone's laying there, and it keeps going off with messages that it says she's getting from her mom, saying, "Sorry, I can't make it. Sorry, blah blah blah." But then you find out towards the end of the movie, at that point, she's got her mom's phone. So it's like, okay, so when did she get the phone? I mean, I'm assuming she got the phone when she killed her mom. So it's like
Right.
when she was receiving those texts, was her mom still alive? And why was she saying, sorry, I couldn't make it, or I can't make it, or whatever? But then she was later there. So I'm very perplexed. I feel like some of this stuff they put in there to try to swerve you, that they can, you make it think it's not her or not this, but then there's no reasoning then behind how these things happened. It's like, Fran was there to be the red herring that you think they're trying to sell you, that she's the one doing this bad stuff, right? She's the one that's killing people and whatever else. But then when you find out it's not, then it's like, okay, so if she's not it, then what is she? And why is she there? Why is she seeing things? Okay, if the mom's, I mean, it's like if she's got her mom's phone later, who was sending the text earlier? Was it the mom? If it was the mom, why is she saying she's not going to be there, but then she was there? It's like they try to put these things to try to swerve you away from Ruthie. But then when you find out it's Ruthie, then there's like all these loose things hanging with no explanation of how it happened. So I feel like it had a lot of loose ends that didn't really tie together. I don't know how you fix it. I don't know if there was too much here, if it just needed a little more story in there. I don't feel like there was too much per se. I just feel like they just didn't follow through on everything, and it was peculiar.
That's what I was gonna say too. Is that because, yeah, I think a lot of the stuff they threw in there was sort of to be like a red herring, like her getting text from her mom and everything else. Like, obviously she wasn't. I mean, if she was getting text from her mom, she would have been also sending the texts.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. But she's making
So,
out with this girl. It's like,
right. So then it's like, okay, is she imagining the text for some reason? But like, she's not directly interacting with the phone. Then so how is she imagining? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I feel like they threw too much in there to try and be a red herring, and some of it just didn't work. Simply speaking, like I think that's the primary example. The whole texting thing, like it just did not make any sense. It just you look at it from the overarching perspective, And it's like you look at it and you're like, okay, but like how is this even possible? Why is this being included? Because later you very clearly learn, well, the mom's been dead for a hot minute. I mean,
Mhm.
her body looks like it's starting to like, become necrotic. I mean, at least like a week or so, you know what I mean? Or at least a few days at a minimum. So realistically thinking, like the mom's there, she's been dead for a few days, which is another thing. How did the mom die? Because at a minimum, the woman had to have been dead before they got there. So
Mhm.
my only thought is that are we supposed to assume that the main character Ruthie went up to the hotel before she brought they brought their friends and killed the mom, and then after they killed the mom, they left, brought their friends to the hotel. So that's what I'm like trying to like reconcile is like, is there enough time in like this supposed like chain of events for that to make sense? I'm like, I just don't think it does.
Yeah, it's very odd. I don't know. Yeah, there's
It's
a lot of questions, um, and they didn't give answers to them, and there's not enough clear cut information to deduct your own things from this.
right.
It doesn't work. If you try to put reason on it, it's like nope, that doesn't work. It's something conflicts with it. So it's again, it's a beautiful movie, and it's a well acted movie, but it's a very odd, awkward kind of movie. It doesn't flow right. There there's I don't know. It's like they wanted to get to a certain point, a certain ending, and they weren't quite sure how to get there. And I don't know. It almost feels like they got stuck and just tried to threw in some cheap tricks to try to make it work, and it caused more issues.
It
I
did.
don't know. It
Absolutely.
was so. All right. So, um, but again, I mean, hats off to the cast. I mean, the cast was really good. I really did like the
Yeah.
cast. None of them I recognize from anything else that I've seen that I know of, and I thought they were all really really good. And and like you said, the sound and the way it was shot and the angles, the sets, and I mean, it was all great. It all looked really good, and that's why when you're hitting on all these things, man, it's just like, if you just could have put the story together right, this would have been a really really solid movie. And
Yeah.
but it fell a little short. So let's rate this thing. I'll go first. Out of 5 screens, I'm just hands down. I'm giving it a 2. I'm giving it 2 screens because for as visually and sonically how much I liked it, I just really didn't enjoy watching the movie. I did no sense of fulfillment from the movie. Uh, I actually watched the movie and it left me more perplexed and confused than before I watched it. And I don't like that. That's not there's got to be some resolution, and there wasn't. So I'm giving it a 2 out of 5. I feel like they just really did not stick the landing on this thing.
Absolutely. I don't think I'm gonna go as low as a 2 out of 5. I think I'll probably give it about a 2.5. I think that the story was okay, minus all the confusing, junk. But you had a really good cast. A lot of these people, I've seen from, smaller things like, the person who plays Ruthie played Queen Victoria and like The Greatest Showman. Um, you
Oh,
know,
okay, that's right. Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, so like little roles like that. And then, of course, not so little of a role, but the person that played Cal, Hari Neff, she played one of the Barbies in the Barbie movie. So,
Well, I've not seen that. So
right. So I recognize them from that. So, I like the cast a lot. I think they all did superb job. I think that they, if anything I can take from this movie is that the acting was great. The main character Ruthie, the actress was fantastic.
mhm.
They presented themselves as a legitimately insane person very well. You have the great acting, you have the great landscape, the filming was good, the cinematography was good, the sound was good. So it's like everything was about this was good except for the fact the story made no sense. So 2.5 out of 5 from Ike.
Well, there you go. So
a cumulative 2.25. But there you have it. Not one of the best entries we've done in this, but they're not all going to be hits. There's always going to be some B-sides and deep cuts that just aren't gonna land for you. But there you have it. That's our review of Bad Things on Shudder. So go give it a watch. Let us know on social media what you think of it and what you would rate it. Speaking of social media, make sure you follow us. We're on all the platforms at Listen to Screams. It is Listen, the number 2 in Screams. We're on them all, so just look us up and follow us on there. Make sure you subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform, and if applicable, give us a rating and review and help us on those algorithms so that we come up with some as a suggested listen for other people. Also, make sure that when we post things, especially the new episodes and stuff, make sure you share those and get them out there and help us network and spread the word. Like I said, next week, we really wanted to do all fun and games. And if something comes up and it looks like we are capable of seeing it, that might be what we end up going with. Yeah. But as of now, I'm not so sure that's going to happen. So the plan B and what we're going to say for now we're going to do is we're going to do the movie That's a Wrap, which will be on video, is coming out on video on demand this weekend. And so we're going to watch that. I believe it's a horror comedy, but it sounds pretty good. So we're going to watch that. And unless all fun and games becomes an option, and then we'll divert back to that. So stay tuned. It might be a surprise. We'll let you know early next week before the episode comes out which one we ended up landing on. So, but before we get there, Ike, anything you want to say before we close this one out?
Oh man, well, yeah, for people who are, anywhere on the East Coast, hopefully you're safe. I know that, the wonderful, quote unquote, Hurricane Idalia is just, swinging its way through Florida and everything else. And, I think right now it's mostly in Georgia, South Carolina, and maybe a little bit of North Carolina. But, I just want to make sure everyone's, safe out there. And, if you're listening to this, I'm going to assume you're safe. So.
Yeah. Be safe. Be smart, people. Don't try to do anything. Don't do anything ridiculous. And fight Mother Nature head on. Do the proper things, and just if it's coming, prepare for the worst, because at least that way you won't get any bad surprises. A good surprise never killed anybody. So, well, maybe, I don't know. I won't say it as a blanket statement, but you know what I mean.
Right.
So plan for the worst and hope for the best. That's a good motto in life. So, but all right, until next week and next episode. From us here at Listen to the Screams, goodbye, everybody, and be good, be safe, and have many pleasant nightmares.